Well, I thought I'd come to Catanoi for this video. It's very busy here. It's coming up to high season. This beach normally is fairly quiet, but it's not at the moment. Anyway, what I want to talk about this time is my test run for traveling alone. I went to Spain for a week and traveled alone. It really didn't go well for me, and I want to give you some advice on what to do when you start traveling alone. So I'll go into that later, and I'll just explain what happened to me on my first run. So I decided to go to Spain, and the first mistake was because I wasn't going in the tourist areas. Nobody spoke English. And the second mistake, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I decided to go from Alicante up to Barcelona, and I didn't really know how. I just decided I'd get the train. I wasn't prepared. I just bought a phrase book at the airport and decided to wing it. So even on the plane, I went on the national carrier for Spain. I forget the name now, but there were no English people. Everyone was speaking Spanish. And by the end of that flight, I felt lonely already. When I got to Alicante, I made my way to the train station, and I managed to ask the next train going up towards Barcelona, and I was given the date, or I was given the time, and I missed it. I asked again, is it coming? And they said, no, that was the one, just gone. So I had to get the bus. I didn't get that far. I got up to Valencia, and even there, it was late at night, and I had to get a hostel. The hostel that I eventually found, I just kept asking people, hostel, hotel, somewhere to sleep, and it was barred up, or locked up, bars on the windows, bars on the doors, but eventually I managed to get in there, and I stayed there a couple of nights. So even after 3 days of this, traveling up to Valencia and then going around Valencia, I still hadn't actually found someone to talk to. I'd been on my own. This was, I think, 1989, so there was no internet, couldn't chat to people back home, and pretty lonely by then. And I remember I was in a restaurant and I heard an American talking, and I just went, I went up to him and I said, I haven't talked to anybody for 3 days. Can I talk to you? So I talked to him, kind of felt better for that. Anyway, I didn't have time to go up to Barcelona. I made my way back down, and I ended up hitchhiking. And I think people just felt sorry for me because I looked so lonely on the road. I got back to Benidorm, which is near Alicante. It's kind of an English holiday maker place. So the last night before I was due to go back home, I just decided to stay in a bar, just drink, talk to the person behind the bar. And it was a really weird place. They had some videos on of lions eating people. So it was a bit strange. But anyway, I was in there till 2 o'clock in the morning. Wasn't drunk or anything. I came out, walked down the road, and I got mugged. These 3 guys came out of a doorway. One grabbed one arm, another grabbed the other arm, and the third one started kicking me. Luckily I wasn't drunk. I turned around and ran, and I actually only by then had about $5 on me, so they wouldn't have got much, but it really shook me up. And actually, even by the next day I was still shaking, and I found it difficult even to walk out in public. So that wasn't even the end of it. The next day I was checking out, and I'd asked the guy at the pension where I was staying whether they accept credit cards. He'd said yes, and of course they didn't accept credit cards. So I had to leave 2 of my rings, gold rings, and he said, okay, I'll send you the money when. I said, I'll send you the money, and he said he'll send me the rings back once I get to England. So I sent the money, but he didn't send the rings back. So complete disaster. And I think from that I can give a few tips of what not to do, which is go to a place where you're not likely to be able to speak to people. And also, don't make it too difficult on yourself. I think some good ideas would be, if you want to travel on your own, either if you're kind of under 30, I would say do some hosteling, travel around and stay in hostels, because everybody talks to each other. It's really easy to talk to people in hostels. So you should do that. In Europe, and I think also maybe in America as well, certainly in Europe anyway, hosteling, it's kind of okay if you're older than 30 and even any age. And the hostels are really friendly and people of many ages use them. In Asia, it's really people under 30. If you're over 30, and I know because I've done it, it does seem a bit weird in hostels because everyone's kind of partying and kind of, they look at you a bit funny if you're older. So that's one choice. Another choice is to do a course, like you could do a scuba diving course or a rock climbing course. And there you get to talk to people because you're doing the same thing. And you're also finding people with the same interests. And another idea is to just do something, an activity where there are other people doing that activity, like trekking. Maybe go off to the Himalayas. When you're trekking, you always talk to people that you pass. And really wherever you're trekking, you tend to do that. So those are some tips about what to do when you start traveling alone. I think it is a lot easier now because you've got internet. You can actually just ring someone up and have even a face-to-face Skype call with them, and it's a lot easier. When I did it, there was no internet and it wasn't easy. What I actually did in the end, and you might want to do this. So because of this bad experience with Spain, I decided I didn't want to leave on my own, and I met up with some people. At that time I met them through the Youth Hostel Association. They had a magazine, YHA magazine, and I looked in the back. I met up with a few people, and eventually a group of 4 of us joined together, and we left England together, go to India. We stayed together 2 weeks and then we split up. But I really didn't find it difficult to meet people in India. In fact, in the first 3 months, I met people every night, and there was only one day when I was sick and I didn't meet anyone. So it's actually quite easier, a lot easier in Asia than it is in Europe. So anyway, that's all about traveling alone and doing a trial run. Hope you found that useful. If you did, please give this a thumbs up because it'll help other people to see this video on YouTube. If you're interested in traveling and working, then please subscribe to my channel. Also, I like to give you some incentives, so I like doing videos like this to inspire you to actually travel or to try it out. So if you are interested in that, please subscribe to my channel. And if you've got any questions or comments, please leave them below. So thanks a lot, and I'll see you in the next video.